In this installment, we're going to be going over Week 16 Saturday Slate. This is the second Saturday Slate in a row on Draftkings. Let's get into it. Hey, yo! Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to give you the winning ingredients for your Saturday slate on DraftKings. And this particular Saturday, we're getting more than just 3 games. We got pretty much a mini Sunday slate here on Saturday, and we're going to deep dive into this. But before I do that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetShetsD. Don't forget about that TikTok at Chef_D91. And don't forget about the Patreon if you want more DFS betting and fantasy football advice. Starting at the quarterback position, we have a lot of weather factors here to decipher through in a lot of these matchups here. This is December and the weather is really, really ugly in a lot of these games. So starting at the top, we're going to begin with Josh Allen going up against the Chicago Bears. And of course, Chicago, windy city here. And they are looking at 38 miles per hour winds and temperatures below 10. Okay, so there's going to be an environment that he's already used to, but the wind conditions can hamper the passing game. But this is Josh Allen here. We need that rushing ability, all right? If they're going to lean on Josh Allen to run that football more, fine. We are going to collect those fantasy points there. So Josh Allen is going to be someone that we can focus in on in this game environment on both sides. So you got Josh Allen on one side, and you got Justin Fields here at 7,500. If you want to save some salary, he can do similar things to Josh Allen, and we already know his upside rushing that football, and he is super, super dynamic. Perfect game script here. If they're going to lean on this rushing game just a little bit more between him and David Montgomery, Justin Fields is a game breaker. So if you want to save some salary, fine by me. Go with Justin Fields, which is going to be a more lowering score affair in this one, more defensive, more running. That's going to bode well for both of these quarterbacks, okay? Josh Allen, Justin Fields are solid options. Patrick Mahomes against Seattle. Seattle tends to struggle in stopping running the football, all right? So we're going to double check that here. Points allowed to running backs. Let's adjust this to around week 10 area. I'm going to flip it around, and Seattle Seahawks are 32nd overall and 32nd in the red zone. So in this game, do they need Patrick Mahomes to throw it all over the field? They really don't, because Isaiah Pacheco and Jerick McKinnon have been solid so far this year. But I wouldn't be surprised that Patrick Mahomes does his normal 20 fantasy points. Hopefully he gets a few rushes here and there. If he gets in the end zone, that's icing on the cake there. But they do not need to throw this football all around Seattle. They can establish run game, and Patrick Mahomes might be bumped down just a little bit. We might be leaning more towards the passing game of the Seattle, because Seattle's going to keep up with the high octane offense of the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, let's continue to go down. Joe Burrow is in an ugly matchup here against New England. New England, they're in Foxborough. Joe Burrow, they can run the ball on the Patriots. Patriots are going to struggle putting up points, and they could ice this game out. So Joe Burrow is going to be a little bit lower on my list, just a tad. I don't expect them to keep up a fight with the Cincinnati Bengals here. Let's see if we can find some other upside quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins coming off the greatest comeback in NFL history here. 37 fantasy points we saw against those Colts. Now he's going up against the Giants. The Giants struggle against quarterbacks. Let's look at fantasy points allowed to that QB position. And these New York Giants are currently 18th overall, 13th in the red zone, 247 passing yards a game, 1.3 TDs a game as well. And they're going to have to deal with KJ Osborne, Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson. And you get the benefit that Minnesota is playing indoors. So this is a great factor here with all the bad weather. You want to attack a game where there's not going to be that type of factor. And Minnesota, Kirk Cousins at 1 p.m. All these things line up for him to have a repeat performance with a very shaky secondary here in the New York Giants. So Kirk Cousins is going to be on our list. Mid-tier price range for a QB. I'm loving him. Going up against the middling New York Giants pass defense. Taylor Heineke wasn't able to take advantage, but dang sure Kirk Cousins will. All right. We got an ugly matchup with Dak Prescott going up against that secondary in Philadelphia. Ugly weather in that game against Cleveland and New Orleans. We might want to stay away from Deshaun Watson. Here, we can go here with Geno Smith at 5,800 if you want to find a cheaper quarterback for our lineups on Saturday. Geno Smith at 5,800. He's going to have to keep up pace with the Kansas City Chiefs. A tough matchup against San Francisco. He came on strong at the end of this game and still put up 15 fantasy points. Before that, he had a string of 20 plus fantasy football performances, and I expect for him to get back on that roll. All right, Geno Smith, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Marquise Goodwin. Well, we'll be wait and see about Tyler Lockett. I think he might be injured, but Geno Smith is in a great environment here to put up some fantasy points, keep up pace with the Chiefs, and at a cheap price of 5,800, he's a solid quarterback to go towards. Let's continue to go down lower here. Let's see, Brock Purdy against the Washington Commanders. They struggled against Daniel Jones and those New York Giants. I expect Brock Purdy to put up a middling performance. This is a cheaper quarterback here, so I expect him to give you around 15 to 20 fantasy points, which he has done against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. This is a team here in the 49ers that have elite talent at their position makers, at their playmakers, wide receiver, tight end, running back. This is a very good core to build around Brock Purdy. I expect the San Francisco 49ers to continue to keep rolling. And if you're looking for a cheap quarterback there, Brock Purdy can be your guy. Let's see if we can find someone anywhere down low here. Jared Goff against Carolina. That's not a great matchup that I want to attack. Daniel Jones against Minnesota. If they're going to keep up pace with Minnesota, Daniel Jones is going to either have to throw that football or utilize his legs. He has plenty of games where he has very solid rushing performances, like against Washington where he has 71 yards, like against Detroit where he had 50 yards and a touchdown, like against Jacksonville we have over 100 yards rushing. So Daniel Jones has some upside there at 5,600 as well. Let's see, anyone else down low? I think we don't need to get too cute. Down low here, Sam Darnold is going up against the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions are still one of the poorest fantasy teams here against opposing quarterbacks. 32nd overall, 30 and 29th in the red zone, excuse me. So Sam Darnold is going to be the cheapest we'll go. All right, if you really want to punt your quarterback, Sam Darnold has a very, very good matchup here. Hopefully he can get into those 20-point fantasy point production range, and it bodes well for him against this Detroit Lions secondary and the fact that they are going to struggle against this Carolina Panthers defense, okay, on the road, all right? So we're going to lean towards Sam Darnold as the cheapest quarterback at 5,100. Let's get into the running backs. I think this is going to be the key here. This running back position. You know what? I said it's key for quarterbacks, yes, but in this winter solstice type of weather that we're getting for these games on Saturday, the running backs, you hitting the correct running back is going to be crucial in your lineup builds, okay? So we're going to start off at the top here. Christian McCaffrey, he's going to get the volume in an okay spot here against Washington. They're usually pretty stout against the run, but you got the 49ers. They're going to utilize Christian McCaffrey in very creative ways, and he's going to get his, all right? He's going to get a 20-plus type of fantasy point performance. The question is the usage, the percentage owned. So he's going to be highly owned here. Obviously, people are just going to just bank in the production because he's going to see 15-plus rushes, a handful of receptions. Hopefully, he gets in the end zone. So Christian McCaffrey is going to have a lot of ownership here at 8,800. Obviously, a solid play, all right? Derrick Henry is going to be one of our favorite top-tier plays at a very high price here. With no Ryan Tannehill, Malik Willis at the quarterback position, Derrick Henry It's going to be all on him, all right? They're going to feed this man. He might even get 30 touches, all right? We will see. He's going to get receptions. He's going to get rushes, everything, the whole kit caboodle, because they're not going to put everything on Malik Willis. You're going to see Derrick Henry at a very high clip here. Hopefully, he can have a crazy Josh Jacobs type of day here. That's what we need from Derrick Henry to eclipse everyone, all right? To be a game-breaking player for Week 16, Derrick Henry has that ability, all right? He's one of the best running backs in the history of the NFL here in Derrick Henry. So I'm loving him against the Houston Texans. Let's look at fantasy points allowed to the running back position. The Houston Texans are very, very poor rush defense here. And we're going to flip this around. These Houston Texans are currently 25th and 26th in the red zone. 124 yards allowed per game. 4.3 yards a carry, all right? And we're talking about Derrick Henry here. He's a lock play, all right? Saquon Barkley is in a environment where he's going to get utilized rushing and receiving. If you want to save a little bit of salary there, you're going to see a high volume from Saquon Barkley to keep up pace with this very high-octane Minnesota Vikings offense here. So I like Saquon Barkley in this game. The Vikings defense gives up more of the passing yardage. If we're really looking at the numbers here, but I do expect them to be in situations where they're going to need to pass on third down. Saquon Barkley is going to be that pass catcher that's going to come out the back because they have limited resources at the wide receiver. So I like Saquon Barkley at 7,900, but he won't be one of our definites in this lineup build that we got over here to your right. Nick Chubb is in an okay spot here. Bad weather, high volume of wins here. Let's just double check that. If we're looking at wins in that game in Cleveland, 60 miles per hour, that's what they're calling for. 60 miles per hour. So Nick Chubb they're going to utilize both of these guys. Chubb, Kareem Hunt, tight ends, things that are going to be closer to that line of scrimmage. That's going to be the guys that are going to factor into this game if we're talking about 60 mile per hour wins. That is insane. Dalvin Cook is in a solid spot here against the Giants, 22nd overall ranked. Let's see if we can find you some better value here. The weakness to the Philadelphia Eagles is that rushing game. We're going to go with the most explosive back that they got, and that's Tony Pollard, all right? You can go with Zeke Elliott if you want. He's going to get his touches, all right? But I want the guy that's a game breaker. I want this guy that has a 22, 24, 39.9 type of upside that you see against Minnesota. He's that type of talent, all right? Super, super explosive at $7,000 in salary. He's going to fit in our model here that we can go towards in our lineup builds for Saturday. All right, let's continue to go down low. Alvin Kamara, they're going to be utilizing Taysom Hill, all right? Let's see. Taysom Hill is going to be a quarterback. So this is what I'm going to mention him, all right? New Orleans Saints came out and said that they are going to play more Taysom Hill in this game on Saturday, right? They have nothing to lose, okay? So we're going to see a higher volume of packages of Taysom Hill. So we want to stay away from Andy Dalton, and we want to lean into some Taysom Hill. If you want a punt quarterback here for Draftkings, Taysom Hill is going to be your guy. Not only is he going to have some passes, he's going to also have some rushes as well, get some goal line touches there. He's going to usurp a little bit of the production of Alvin Kamara as well. So this is the lowest. If you want to be super sneaky and have great upside in tournaments, Taysom Hill, if he has 15 to 20 fantasy points, that is an awesome play at 4,800. So definitely have to mention him. Let me take him out, and we're going to throw in Taysom Hill. We're going to put in the gem right there for you guys, okay? Let's continue to go down low. Kenneth Walker, hopefully he is healthy for this game against KC. He can be a game breaker where KC has just been giving up yards, passing and rushing. They have a lot of holes right now on that defensive side of the ball. Kenneth Walker has upside to go berserk. Let's see if we can find some gens down low here. Jerick McKinnon and Isaiah Pacheco here, respectively, $5,900 in salary and $5,700. Both of these guys have been getting high usage in the Kansas City Chiefs offense, and this is the best matchup here going up against the Seattle Seahawks. 32nd overall and 32nd in the red zone. 171.6 yards a game, 5.2 yards a carry. So you want to utilize these running backs here for Kansas City. Look at Jerick McKinnon the past 2 games. 34 fantasy points against Houston, and he's getting a high volume in that passing game. 8 for 8 for 71 touchdown, and then against Denver, 7 for 112 and 2 TDs. Jerick McKinnon is going to be someone that we look at below 6K at 5,900. Isaiah Pacheco's not that far behind. He's been putting up solid numbers, using him more as a rusher, not getting utilized at a high clip in the receptions. All right, so we're going to play Jerick McKinnon over Isaiah Pacheco, okay? Let's continue to talk about these running backs. These are a lot of running backs here that we can talk about in very, very good matchups, okay? Let's continue to go down a little bit lower here. If Damian Harris is out, Ramondre Stevenson gets a better clip here of usage, so he's in the solid spot. Let's continue to go. J.K. Dobbins is looking like his old self against Atlanta. He is looking fresh, all right? 21 fantasy points against the Steelers, 16.8 against Cleveland. They don't have a quarterback here in Tyler Huntley. He's just barely a game manager. They're going to utilize the run, all right? It's going to be Dobbins. It's going to be Edwards. J.K. Dobbins has looked great the last 2 weeks, getting ready for this playoff push, getting ready for Lamar Jackson as well. So I like J.K. Dobbins at 5,800. Tyler Algier, if we're going to down here, 5,200. He's been getting a solid amount of work. Looked great against the Saints, 17 for 139 and a TD. All right, is that an anomaly? We'll see. I do expect him to use a very high volume of the rush game to really lean into Desmond Ridder. Right, they just don't want to have him throwing the ball willy-nilly there. You can expect Tyler Algier to get a solid amount of carries. And if we're looking for a punt running back here, I'm going to go towards James Cook. All right, he's getting more and more usage, taking away the job of Devin Singletary, and he's the more explosive out of the 2 backs. So if we're looking for a punt running back, before we get to these wide receivers, go with James Cook. For the wide receiver position, we are going to have to focus in on some key spots here. With all this wind, that's going to affect the passing game for a lot of these offenses. And we're going to have to look at some of these environments that are going to be in closed environment type of venues. So, number 1, some of these games that we're going to focus in on is going to be Philadelphia, Dallas. That's going to be one that you can focus on. So we'll have them up here. Another one that's going to be not deal with much weather because they're going to be indoors. That's going to be Minnesota and the Giants. And I think there's one more, just going off memory of these venues. Tennessee. So let me double check here. We got, and it's decent weather here in San Francisco as well. So the next game will be that San Francisco and San Francisco and Washington. All right, these are the 3 games that you can key in on and avoid the high wind totals that you're going to see throughout all the other games. New England, bad weather. Tennessee, Baltimore, Carolina, Chicago, Cleveland. All right, KC has okay weather. I'm not going to shy away from that matchup as well. So we're going to look at these 4 games here. So guys, you can key in on in these 4 games. Obviously, Justin Jefferson is going to be at the top of our list. He's going to get a lot of volume here. And a lot of usage and a lot of percentage owned. Okay, so Justin Jefferson, don't shy away from him. He should get his 20+ fantasy points that we've seen 3 out of the last 5 weeks. All right, the Giants struggle at stopping at wide receivers. Their class of cornerbacks going up against this class of wide receiver here for the Minnesota Vikings is on 2 different plateaus. So Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and KJ Osborne are going to be guys we can focus on. Matter of fact, we are going to be putting in KJ Osborne in here at 4,500. And they can definitely pick apart. Kirk Cousins can definitely pick apart this secondary here. He's coming off a bananas game here in 10 receptions, 16 targets, 157 yards, and 1 TD. All right. Don't forget about that. He is at a very nice price here. And he's going to see a decent amount of volume here around that 5 to 7 range there, and he can get in the end zone. He's a sneaky wide receiver there, and he's the guy that's going to take over when Adam Thielen is going. Adam Thielen is slowly getting less and less usage because of guys like KJ Osborne and TJ Hawkinson stepping up in the offense, all right? Other wide receivers we can go towards. A.J. Brown, he's going to have to lean on Gardner Minshew, all right? We'll see how Gardner Minshew connects with him. So we're not 100% sure here. No Jalen Hurts, no best friend here. So I don't know how this is going to work with Gardner Minshew and A.J. Brown. Does he throw more to Quez Watkins? Does he throw more to Devonta Smith? We do not know yet, all right? So that's going to be a little bit risky trying to go with this, but he should lean to his number one option, all right? So Gardner Minshew, gunslinger, he leaves it out all on the field. He is not shy of throwing that ball down the field as well. So A.J. Brown should be okay in this situation at 8,100 if you want to go towards him. And he's going to deal with a little bit of Trayvon Diggs. But Diggs gambles a lot, and there's opportunity for him to have a big game. CeeDee Lamb going up against the secondary. All right, this is not the perfect matchup for him. He's finally kind of emerging here. So 3 out of the last 5 games, over 20 fantasy points. That is a great sight to see from him, but he's going to have to deal with Darius Slay. So I'm going to be a little bit tendent on that matchup there. We might want to stay away from that. DK Metcalf is in a good spot here. All right. So if we want to look at these wide receivers for Seattle, let's just double check here. We got Tyler Lockett is out. All right. So this bodes awesomely for DK Metcalf. All right, DK Metcalf is the clear-cut number one option here, and there's not a corner on the Kansas City Chiefs that can stop him. If we're looking for a blow-up spot here, a lock for the wide receiver position on this slate, it's this Seattle Seahawks wide receiver here, DK Metcalf, going up against the Kansas City Chiefs, because they're going to have to keep up pace with this offense. All right, so I expect a touchdown. I expect over 100 yards. I expect a fantastic day from DK Metcalf. He's going to be our lock here for that wide receiver position. All right, let's continue to go down low. Brandon Ayuk is the number one wide receiver with Deebo Samuel out. Hopefully he can get a little more connection here with Brock Purdy. He's had 3 over double-digit fantasy points per game in the past 5 weeks. That's solid. A little bit up and down here with Brock Purdy at the quarterback. So it's been a lot of George Kittle lately, but Brandon Ayuk is in a solid spot here going up against Washington, okay? Terry McLaurin is in an ugly game against San Francisco's defense. Juju Smith-Schuster, he might be he's going to be in the slide, so he's not going to have to really deal with Woolen. We'll see. But Juju Smith-Schuster had a very high volume. This at the beginning of the season got injured, and now it's turning back up. As you can see, week 14, 11 targets. Week 15, 10 targets. We can go back to the well here. Juju Smith-Schuster is going to be working in the middle of the field, all right? Away from their rookie, elite, talented corner there for the Seattle Seahawks. I like him at 5,800. Let's see if we can find some other gems as we continue to go lower. Can Tony get any burn? Don't really need to focus on that. That's going to be a rare occasion for him to have a huge game. Let's see if we can find you some other gems here. Darius Slayton is the number one wide receiver for the New York Giants. Yes, they use Isaiah Hodgins and Richie James, but Darius Slayton is the guy that's going to beat this defense deep, all right? And if this team that gives up a ton of passing yards to opposing quarterbacks here and wide receivers, Darius Slayton is going to be the guy that's going to catch the deep ball. Look at his long receptions so far this season. All right, 37 yards against Philly, 55 against Washington, 44 against Dallas. All right, so very high volume here. Deep targets, has the ability to get in the end zone. So give me Darius Slayton as another punt option in a good environment here in Minnesota. All right. Let's continue to go down a little bit lower. Michael Gallup, he's going to be dealing with the number 2 corner there for the Philadelphia Eagles. That's going to be a decent matchup there. Now, other than those, all right, other wide receivers we can focus on because it's going to be ugly. I do not want to touch that New Orleans Saints and Cleveland Browns game. All right, we do have Stephon Diggs in the game against Chicago. Right, that's the number one option for Josh Allen. I wouldn't shy away from him. Let's see if we continue to go down like 8,500. Let's see if we find some other gems down here. DJ Moore. I did like Sam Darnold in his matchup against the Detroit Lions. So DJ Moore at 5,500. He had a great game against Pittsburgh, 5 for 73 and 1 TD. You can't be shy. They shouldn't have lost that game against Pittsburgh. You gotta utilize your number one talents, and DJ Moore is going to be that guy. All right, continue to go down a little bit lower here since we opened it up to the other poor games here with the weather. Drake London here, he's been, let's see. So as the number one target with Ritter as the number one quarterback, he's been getting a ton of targets. Week 13, 12, week 15, 11. So this is going to be a punt play here under 5K. He's the number one wide receiver. Ritter is going to force feed him the ball, and we've seen it. I have no problem going towards Drake London in this game going up against Baltimore. That's going to be a sneaky option there as well. At the tight end position, you want to key in a guy that's in a high volume situation, and that's going to be someone like Travis Kelce at the top. You don't want to get too cute here. You want to shore in someone that's going to get a high volume of receptions and targets. Travis Kelce against the Seattle Seahawks. We saw what the Seahawks gave up last week to George Kittle. You can only imagine what Travis Kelce can do as well at the salary of $8,000. All right, so he's much worth the cost here. And you're talking about a guy that's getting double-digit targets, all right? He did in Week 15, did in Week 11, someone that's going to get you 20-plus fantasy points. This is basically a wide receiver here in the tight end's body. So Travis Kelce is going to be a love at $8,000 of salary. As we continue to go down low, I would love Mark Andrews if he gets his quarterback back. But right now, Huntley is not really taking Mark Andrews to that next level like he did last year. So we want to simmer down on Mark Andrews and wait until Lamar Jackson gets back. George Kittle coming off a very good game against Seattle, like I just said, but the consistency hasn't been there, all right? With the 49ers, since they have so many weapons, it could be one game of Ayuk, one game of Kittle, one game of McCaffrey. It's not a lot of everyone eating at one time, all right? So Kittle is someone you can consider, but not a love. TJ Hockenson against the New York Giants. Giants historically struggle against the tight end position, similar to the Los Angeles Chargers, another team that struggles against the tight end position. He's getting a very solid amount of targets since he was acquired in the trade from the Detroit Lions. They love TJ Hockenson, so I like him at a guy that's going to be a mid-value there at 4,900. Have no problem going towards TJ Hockenson. Dallas Goedert is fully back. I expect Gardner Minshew to connect with someone that he's very, very familiar with. Since Minshew has been with the Eagles for a couple years now, Dallas Goedert would be a guy that he would throw a very high volume to. If it's not A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert can be a surefire receptor at 4,500. David Njoku, if I'm going to choose one guy in that game, we know Deshaun Watson loves the tight ends. We want someone that's going to be close to that line of scrimmage. They run a lot of tight end screens here for David Njoku, and they target the tight end at a over 30% clip. All right, so we saw 6 targets from him against Baltimore, 9 against Cincinnati. Deshaun Watson loves David Njoku. I expect him to have a solid game despite the fact of this weather. They're going to have to throw the ball at least some, all right? Not too far down the field. David Njoku is going to be in the sweet spot for him to explode. He can utilize his athleticism and get some yards after the catch, hopefully get in the end zone, all right, if you're looking for a cheaper tight end. Let's continue to go a little bit lower here. Dalton Schultz at 4,200, someone that you can look at. Up and down with his targets, but still, he's going to be a consistent guy that Dak Prescott can lean on. If they're going to be locking down the other 2 wide receivers in Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb, they're going to have to utilize their tight ends. They have a few of them, all right? They got Hendershot, they got Dalton Schultz, and they got one more other guy, all right? So a lot of depth there with Dallas, but Schultz is going to be one of the favorite targets as a tight end. Dawson Knox has been coming on a little bit stronger as of late. Looking like himself from last season, 6 for 7 for 41 and a touchdown, and against Miami another touchdown. So if you keep the ball rolling here in another wild and crazy game, Dawson Knox is looking like a guy that can have a very strong finish to the end of this season. So I'm liking him. He's healthy now. He's looking better. I like him at 4,100. Let's continue to go down low. Okonkwo. I've been telling you about Okonkwo for a while now. Malik Willis. And look at this 3 straight games in a row of double-digit fantasy points. This is our punt tight end here. All right. Super cheap, 3,500. We've seen the usage. Clearly, Malik Willis has no problem throwing to him like he did against the Chargers. 4 for 5 for 54, 6 for 45, and 4 for 68. Okonkwo is a very sneaky play here at 3,500. I don't think I have love anyone other than him if we continue to go down lower, because he has the athleticism, he has the upside. The man looks like a wide receiver, man. If I looked at him as he played last week, he looks great. Guys cheaper than that, there's not much upside when you're digging this deep. I want guys that are getting high usage, have athleticism. Other than that, you're looking at a dart throw here, and you're hoping to get lucky at these guys a little bit lower. So the cheapest we'll go is at 3,500 with Okonkwo. All right. So thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetJSD. And I'll be back with another video very soon. All right. Peace out, guys, and Merry Christmas. All right. There won't be a video for Sunday, but I just want to say thank you guys for a great year. I love the support. You push me over 1,000 subscribers, and let's continue to go to the next level. We're going to bring in a new year, and we're going to take this channel to the next level. More live videos are going to come, and super chats are going to come. All that is going to be growing. More betting videos. That's where I want to gear towards too as well. So I appreciate you so much for the love and support. Thank you so much. Hopefully that this year, 2023, we take it to a whole nother level, and you guys will see. You guys will see the improvement, the steps that we're going to take to make this channel even better. All right. So happy holidays and Merry Christmas.